Hi
Hey
Max,
Josh,
how are you?
good mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be able to speak to you because I've got to say this film just really blew me away with the places it goes to. And I know obviously you and Elisabeth Moss have spent a long time working together. She obviously directed you in The Handmaid's Tale. So what was it like having that role reversal and directing her in this film?
I mean, a tremendous privilege. I think it's an objective opinion to say that Lizzie Moss is one of the great actors of her generation, and to have the opportunity to sort of work with her in this capacity was amazing. But also to have her bring this role to life, which I think was really unique and challenging in a different way, and brought out a sort of different side of her than I've seen before. And she's got incredible comedic chops, and it was a delight to see her utilize them in this movie.
That's amazing. And I really liked how Shell kind of explores that cruel side of Hollywood with, the kind of the beauty standards you see in the tabloids and that quite brutal audition process as well. So
Mm.
as an actor yourself, what made that interesting to kind of exploring this story?
I found the movie just extremely playful and witty and fun. I mean, I think when I first read Jack's Stanley's screenplay in sort of a million years ago now, it was in 2018 when I first read the script, and I was so instantly struck by its tone, and it reminded me a huge amount of Death Becomes So, which is a movie I love massively. But then it also has a sort of slightly more perverse um, energy to it, or like something more perverse fiber to it, which I also really appreciated. And there were so many things that appealed to me about this movie.
Yeah, and I'm guessing the body horror element was one of those because I think that's something as a filmmaker you must have had a lot of fun with without spoiling anything, but the way that kind of develops as the story progresses.
For sure, I think I act as well, and I think sometimes I realize that my what I'm working on as an actor will then infiltrate my imagination in terms of what I'm working on as a filmmaker. And I did a Saw movie right as I was writing, doing the rewrite on Shell. In fact, I was shooting that movie while I was working on the script. And so I think I was sort of really enjoying doing the horror stuff and the extremity of it. And I think a lot of that seeped into this movie.
Yeah, and there's a real great mashup of tones. Obviously, there is a serious element to it, but then things get very weird as well. So,
Hopefully
was it
not too serious.
quite... No, fortunately not. But I mean, in terms of balancing that though, keeping the story grounded and just going with the kind of weirder aspects of the story, but were the characters key for that, would you say? And particularly Elizabeth's character and what she goes through.
Yeah, I think. Look, we had the privilege because the movie took honestly so long to get made. The privilege of it was that we got to really work on the script for so long, and we shot the 500th draft of the film or whatever it is. So I really felt by the time we got to set, we'd locked in what the movie was, and then we were privileged enough to have these actors come and do it. And it is one of those circumstances where I can't imagine anybody else in any of these parts. And we've talked a lot about Elisabeth Moss, but I think Kate Hudson is doing something so extraordinary in this movie, and the reaction she's been getting from audiences. It's very clear that she's just really connecting with people, and is having so much fun with it. And it's quite an iconic performance, I think, and in turn becomes quite an iconic character.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Kate because seeing her go, head to head with Elizabeth's character, it's such a fun dynamic and quite a sinister dynamic. Did you know early on that you wanted it to be Elizabeth and Kate, or was it a process of casting that villain role that took a while, perhaps?
The honest answer is that because we were trying to make the film for so long, it actually went through a couple of different incarnations. But I think, as is often the case, you land in exactly where you were supposed to be. And I really can't imagine. I know all directors say that, but I really can't imagine anybody else in any of these roles, and I wouldn't change any of it. I just feel so grateful that we were able to get such incredible caliber cast in this film. all the way down the line. I mean, there's an actor called Brandon Keener who I wrote a tiny part for, and he was able to come and do it. And Randall Park is obviously extraordinary in the movie, and we were just very, very lucky across the board.
Yeah, and in terms of again, I want to be careful with how much to say here, but with the shells, that element of the film and designing those and the evolution, how much fun was that to almost get into that horror kind of creature kind of area for you as a director?
I mean, a joy. I can see behind you have lots of action figures, and I'm also a collector, and I think as a collector, you gravitate towards genre filmmaking. And what, was amazing about this particular movie is I basically got to do it all. I got to shoot action sequences, I got to shoot suspense sequences, I got to shoot very, very long dialogue sequences, I got to shoot broad comedy, I got to shoot creature feature, and um, really kind of play in all of these worlds that I love equally. I'm a huge film fan and nerd, and my tastes are not exclusive to any genre or sensibility. I really kind of love all and appreciate all types of cinema, and I'm very grateful that in this movie I got to play in the toolbox.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a fun little Catwoman mention in the film, and that's a good segue into. I know obviously you're going to be in the Clayface movie. It looks we've seen some set photos. Maybe you're playing a cop in that one, but is there anything you can tease about that? Because I feel like the same sort of vein as this movie has got that body horror kind of vibe to it, like this one.
I'm really enjoying working on the movie. It's a tremendous collection of people making it. It's James Watkins is directing it. I've been a fan of forever. He did a film called Eden Lake. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen Eden Lake,
phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal
but
film.
that was a movie that really affected me quite a lot when I first saw it. And then Hossein Amini is doing a pass on script, who I actually produced a movie that Hoss directed many years ago. So we have a very personal connection. And Rob Hardy's shooting it, who's an extraordinary cinematographer that I've long admired. So to get to play with these amazing people in the world of Gotham is very fun. And I'm really enjoying it, and I hope people will like it when it comes out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will. But Max, I'm sure they're going to love Shell because, like I said, I think it's such a unique, quirky, interesting, and just awesome film, to be honest. So, congratulations on this one. I think what you've achieved is really incredible. So, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk
Thank you
about
for the
it.
kind words, Josh. I really appreciate it.
Congrats on
Thank you,
this
mate.
one. Great,
Cheers,
great to
bro.
meet you. Cheers.
You
Thank
too.
you.